This is Ian Miller,
Going on, guys? It's Andrew.
and welcome to another episode of Media Talk with Miller and Smith. Tonight, we're actually going to do something different. We're going to add a new segment, but before we get to the segment, we want to talk to you about what's going to happen on our next episode. Because this weekend, we're actually going to see in the theaters Creed 3.
Yep. Yeah. Creed. I've heard pretty good reviews on Creed. Got very positive reviews. This will be Michael B. Jordan's actually directorial debut.
Hmm.
That should be interesting to see how he directed this movie and what direction he went in. Um, and I mean, unfortunately, you will not have Rocky in this movie, but I think it'll still be a great movie overall. Um, Little description of the movie. From what we've seen so far, his childhood friend comes back to town after, I believe, a long time in prison. I believe it is, right?
Hmm.
Um, so he comes back after a long time, um, and then we obviously don't know the specific details of how they drift apart and they start fighting each other. So that
Yeah.
should be pretty interesting on how they how that unfolds in the movie.
Yeah. What I loved about the Creed movies as well as the Rocky movies, it's very much character driven. You
Yeah.
know, it's always about the underdog and seeing, Donnie, obviously played by Michael B. Jordan,
Mhm.
in this particular stage of his life, he doesn't have Rocky in his corner as much, even though there's still a bond between them, because Rocky's off with his own son. And,
Mhm.
he's not, he doesn't have the weight of his father on his shoulders anymore. Now he's standing on his own. And it's interesting seeing him at this particular point in his life, because according to the synopsis, he's actually retired from boxing,
Mhm.
and going up against an old friend of his, who's now turned an enemy, is, just it's a more personal fight than we saw in
Yeah.
the two movies. It's more personal, obviously, than Creed 2 when you're going up against Drago, you know, the son
Yeah.
of the man who killed his father in the ring. So it's a much more personal fight, and you don't quite know who's going to come out on top. You hope, you think you know, but I'm pretty sure they're just going to turn it, during the middle of the movie. And I have to give Jordan chops here because the fact that he's behind, the camera, the director's chair this time around really shows that he's just grown, as an actor and also wants to make sure that you're telling the best possible story. And I think that's what Creed 3 is going to be all about. So I'm very excited about it. And you're going to get a full review about it in our next episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Just one more thing when we touch on well, a couple more things. His friend Damien is being played now by Jonathan Majors, who's now making a name for himself right now.
He's
Uh,
having a hell of a year so far, I think.
he was in I think he was in a war movie like months ago.
Yeah,
Um,
which was, I believe, was very well received.
yeah, and then obviously he was Kang in the Marvel movies,
Yeah,
and Loki, and now he's playing in Creed. I mean, two so far, like two of the biggest franchises he's been in so far.
yeah, dude is
Marvel-
unstoppable.
Yeah, in the Marvel universe and in the Rocky universe. But yeah, he from what I've seen, he's has a great performance. He's done a great performance.
Yeah.
Um, and I touching back on what you said about him directing, I think I saw an interview with him. He was on Kimmel, I think it was.
Yeah.
He was on Jimmy Kimmel. He was Jimmy Kimmel was talking to him about directing, and what was interesting was that he called a couple people when he was starting to direct the movie. He called a couple people like actors who became directors. So like
Yeah.
I heard him say like Bradley Cooper and Denzel Washington and stuff like that. So I think he mostly contacted Denzel to get his advice and everything on it. So I think that was pretty interesting for him to start out because I think him and Denzel are close.
Yeah.
So, to get to get advice from Denzel Washington, I mean, I'm sure he received great advice and you know how to direct when you're an actor too. So like you're starring in a movie and now you're directing yourself. So I mean, I think from certain actors, it's different from their perspective, but to get a to get advice from Denzel, I mean, that's that's pretty big.
Well, it's interesting with having actors turn directors because they understand what the actors are going through.
Mhm,
You can understand from their perspective. I remember Clint Eastwood, when he started directing. I heard this from Angela Jolie, when she was making the Chainling movie,
mhm,
1920s movie,
yeah,
and she said he never calls action. He just says, "Now you can begin." Because because when you go into action, the actor kind of has to get into the moment. Where directors like Clint Eastwood, they just let the actors be.
mhm,
They just let them come naturally.
right.
So yeah, like we said, very excited for Jordan's directorial debut. Glad it's with Creed 3. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. And let you guys know how it went.
Yeah, and I hear there's going to be a fourth movie in the works. So even before it's released. So
They're hedging the bets. They're hedging the bets here. And I think it's a smart move to make. But you have to also acknowledge the fact that how much this franchise has endured for 40 plus years. Starting from Rocky, going
mm,
to the Creed spinoffs. So you're like, because everyone loves the underdog story. Everyone loves the underdog.
yeah, it's like with all these franchises, it's how much more like with all the movies they release, like how much more stuff can they actually do?
Yeah.
It's like with these boxing movies, it's like how many more people can you make up to fight each other? Or how many people can you bring back? Like, would you bring back people from the old movies to this one? Well, like they did with Drago last movie.
Well,
But
that one made more sense because there was a personal connection with Creed. So that made more sense. But I know there was some talk about Clubber Lang, son, you going up. I was like, no, don't do that. Just
no,
because A, Creed never faced this guy, and B, I think the fans were like, no, we want new villains. We not new opponents. You know,
yeah, yeah. So if there is a fourth movie, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they'll come up with a great story. But we got to see how this movie fares first. So we'll see on Sunday.
yeah.
Um, yeah. So whoever hasn't seen the movie, go see it. Let us know your thoughts on it, comments, and we'll talk about it. So
Yeah. Okay, on to our new segment tonight.
mhm,
And this came about when I actually read an article about Chris Pine, who said he was frustrated because of the lack of news of what's happened with Star Trek 4 or Star Trek 14, as many of you canon, fans know how many films are in the franchise. For many of you probably know this story, Star Trek Beyond, which was released in 2016, you know, did very well in the box office, obviously guaranteed a sequel.
mhm,
And Star Trek 4 was actually greenlit after, the release of Star Trek Beyond. And Simon Pegg and his co-writer were already working on a script. And then there was a change where they wanted to cut down on the budget, you know, in particular, cutting down on some of the actors' salaries. Now, this was definitely unfair to obviously the cast. In particular, they wanted to cut down on Chris Hemsworth's salary because he was supposed to be in Star Trek 4, but he was not, allowed the pay that he was guaranteed. And same thing was going on, I think, with Chris Pine. But, you know, anyway, the film kept going into development hell. Many filmmakers were left, many screenplays were written. So that got me to thinking about a new segment. And our new segment is movie pitches, which means we're going to pitch a movie idea, not just to all of you, but to possibly Hollywood. Depends on who's watching. Hey, if any of you guys are watching, maybe you can actually send this to Hollywood. We'll see. So, this is our pitch for Paramount Pictures to J.J. Abrams, to the fine people at Star Trek Productions. Here's the pitch for Star Trek 4. And this actually has a connection with two classic episodes of the original series. The Enterprise has been ordered to participate in war games and has even been supplied with a new specialized computer system called the M5 computer. And the purpose of this computer is to actually run a starship fully automated with very little crew members. Now, typically with these starships, they have probably close to maybe 300 crew members on board, all working in different departments. So you pretty much would only have only the essential crew members: the captain, engineering, the helm, weapons systems, operating communications, science, medical. That's it. Everyone else are staying on a space station. But something goes horribly wrong during, this experiment with the M5 computer. It malfunctions when it hits an anomaly and actually gets transported into the mirror universe, where it faces off against the mirror version of the Enterprise, with evil versions of Kirk and his crew. Now, this sounds great on paper, right? Yeah, so you can have the good Kirk and the evil Kirk both played by Chris Pine facing off against each other with their Enterprises, of course. But here's a possibility. What if the Chris Pine Kirk actually faced off against a much older Kirk, played by William Shatner? Now, that's a possibility. Of course, I'm pretty sure that you executives would probably just want Chris Pratt versing Chris Pine. I'm sorry, I just messed up the man's name. Sorry, Chris Pine. I'm very sorry you're watching this. I apologize. Obviously, this will lead to a dogfight between both enterprises, but only one's enterprise will make it home, or will the evil enterprise, the mirror enterprise, will enter in our universe. So that is the pitch. Now, you're probably wondering, who could we get to direct this? Well, aside from Smith and myself, we could probably direct it, right?
Well, I think you would direct it more than me because you know much more about it. I could be a producer though.
Okay.
I mean, I could co-direct it with you. You just have to tell me what to do and how to direct it and stuff.
Yeah, he still hasn't seen Star Trek, folks. At least some of the movies or the television series, he hasn't seen it.
I've seen the Chris Pine ones. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, for all you Star Trek out there, I have not seen the Next Generation yet. So
Even though a guy did some of these things for his birthday, he hasn't seen it yet. He'll see it eventually. He'll see it eventually.
I will see it eventually. Yes, but I will catch up. But I know what it's all about, so I'm not completely in the dark here.
As to who is directed, well, you had a very good director in Justin Lin, obviously famous from the Fast and Furious movies. Yeah, he's going back to indie films, but maybe you could persuade him to do another Star Trek movie. Maybe. Or, JJ, if you're not doing anything besides executive producing, why'd you get back in the director's chair? You directed two successfully, Star Trek movies in the franchise, two successful entries. Or, here's another option. You get Jonathan Frakes to actually direct. Commander William Riker from Next Generation, who's probably directed more Star Trek episodes in multiple series and directed two entries of the Next Generation movies, including one mega hit, Star Trek First Contact? I don't know. Anyway, that is my movie pitch. My friend Andrew here has a pitch of his own.
Yes, I do have a pitch. I will just go back to the Star Trek director for just one more second. There's a director you might have in mind. Well, you may not. I don't know. He's directed a lot more. Well, he's starting to come out as a director. He did direct. Hold on one second. Let me just get the information here. So this director has recently directed, and tell me if you think this is a good idea. He recently directed, and all of you people out there should know this. In 2013, he directed The Wolverine. In 2017, he
Oh,
directed Logan, and I think you know where I'm going with this.
oh, I
And as and just recently, he will be coming out with a movie in June, Indiana Jones. So I think they should get James Mangold to direct Star Trek if you think that's a good idea.
I actually do think this is a good idea because it just goes to show you, he's a man of many genres.
Hmm.
And I was very interested in when he directed Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you that he can do. He's a great director. He can do a lot of things. So yeah, I would actually welcome this idea as well. So we can add that to the list of directors.
So Paramount, if you're listening, we got directors out there for you.
And guys, if you think this is a really good idea, please share it.
Yes, please. All right. So now, as for my movie, when you brought up this segment to me at first, I was like, okay, this might be a little hard because I know there's a lot of movies out there that I kind of want, but it's kind of hard to pitch a movie. But here goes. So for you people out there, see what you think of it. Um, so I think for me, the next movie I'm gonna pitch will be the next Spider-Man movie. Since I'm wearing a Spider-Man shirt here, so I thought I'd bring up I'd bring up the next Spider-Man movie since I think Tom Holland will be coming back. Um, so my pitch is it's a little not finished yet, so we'll see. So what I have is Spider-Man Peter Parker as recently well, not recently, but he's listening to like the radio channels or whatever, and he hears this call about um some gangsters moving some guns or some weapons around the town,
Mm.
or internationally, and Spider-Man or Peter goes to infiltrate it, get the guns back, what Spider-Man does. And here's the thing, little does he know that, well, I don't think he's really met him yet, but little does he know that those guys that he caught and got the guns back from are actually Kingpin's guys. So by played by Vincent D'Onofrio. So you will have Vincent D'Onofrio in this movie. Um, and then when Kingpin discovers that Spider-Man has, let's just say, aborted his plans or
Mhm.
messed up his plans to get the guns international get the guns out or wherever he was trying to send them. He does, he gets really upset, obviously, what Kingpin does, and he puts out a hit on Peter Parker, on Spider-Man. And here's the kicker: the guy that he hires is Craven the Hunter.
Wow.
So he hires Craven to obviously kill Spider-Man for um interrupting his gun operation, and he needs a little bit of help, and he calls, or I'm still trying to work that together, but I
Uh,
think he calls the lawyer who got him out of trouble in Spider-Man: No Way Home, which was Daredevil, Matt Murdock. So obviously he knows Kingpin very well, Matt Murdock. So Matt helps Peter. Let's just say he mentors him, I guess, like all the other mentors, like Tony and Doctor Strange.
yeah,
So he mentors Peter on Kingpin and how to take him down and stuff like that. But I mean that's my pitch. But you have Peter and Matt Murdock working together to take down Kingpin, and also they have to get through Craven the Hunter as well.
wow, just the fact that you're having these two iconic characters actually teaming up,
Hmm.
because I think that was a bit of a tease when you saw No Way Home, and you're like, okay, there has to be something here. Come on, guys, you just can't tease this, come on.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously we know what happened. We obviously don't know what happened with Kingpin and Hawkeye,
Yeah,
but I think I'm pretty sure he's still alive.
yeah, I think so.
But um, yeah, I mean, just I thought about this for a while. Why not have pretty much one of the two best villains in the Spider-Man universe, or the Marvel, um, in the same movie, and trying to take Spider-Man down together. So in Kingpin's eyes, it's like we take down Spider-Man, but I also take down Daredevil as well, who's tormented me for years.
Yeah, yeah, I think it would be very good, keep working on that pitch, but also wait till Daredevil Born Again comes out, because maybe that'll, help you fill in some of the gaps.
Right. Because we know he'll be in that. So
Yeah. No, but I think it's a stellar idea. I mean, hey, Sony, if I'm pretty sure you guys are still in rewrites, maybe you should talk to us.
we got some pretty good ideas here. So come on. I mean, we'll help you out with it.
Yeah. I should note this is not going to be a weekly thing, these movie
Right.
pitches. It's going to be an occasional thing because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the powers that be in some of these studios obviously have their own pitches and they're very good ones, but every once in a while we'll, throw in our pitches to some of these franchises and say, "Hey, wait a second, maybe you could go do it this way."
Yeah. I mean, we'll come up with different scenarios on how they do it. Um, we'll come up, and yeah, this won't be the only segment that we'll come up with. We'll come up with different ones.
Yeah,
But we just thought we'd try this out, see what you guys thought of it, and if there's any other movies, like if there's any other movies that you feel like, or whatever your favorite movie is that you wanted to see, or like you wanted to see into a movie, I should say.
yeah,
Uh, just pitch your idea here. We'll share it. Any kind of pitch you have, really.
yeah.
Um,
Don't go too crazy though. Don't go too crazy
oh
though.
yeah,
We don't want to see a Jaws 19. That ain't gonna happen. We're not doing continuation of the Jaws movies. No, or Back to the Future. That's not gonna happen either.
or another Karate Kid remake. I mean, no,
No,
they've done that before, and
no, we're not doing that. Yeah, we're not doing that. I'm pretty sure a certain someone, and we're talking about our friend Andrew Feller here, will say, "No, no, we don't want. I don't want any more, Karate Kid remakes."
no, I mean, I'm sure he would like a Karate Kid remake, but with um Ralph Macchio. So
We got the Cobra Kai final season.
yes,
So
yeah.
let's,
So
let's make peace with that.
yeah, so that should be fine. But yeah, I mean, any movie ideas you have or TV show ideas you have, um, you know, comic book ideas that could be made into movies. I mean, anything really.
Yeah,
Just don't
please.
go too crazy.
Yeah, don't go crazy, but share your best idea with us
hmm
for a movie pitch, and obviously we'll mention it.
hmm
And obviously we'll keep mentioning our movie pitches to other episodes. But if you guys like our pitches tonight, and you think that the studios that we mentioned, Sony Studios and Paramount Pictures, should actually hear our pitches,
hmm
please share our episode. Let your voices be heard.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And that way we'll get a free trip to Hollywood and to actually start writing these movies.
Hollywood, please watch our show. We got plenty of ideas out there for you. So come on, call us, contact us, anything.
Giving to this to you for free.
You're not spending any money here. Come on.
Yeah. Seriously, come on, JJ. Watch this episode. Sony, come on.
Paramount, anyone,
Please.
please. So, any of you guys out there watching this, just share it with anybody. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, just it's you know, I don't know. What do you say? I mean,
Give us your thoughts about what we're talking about tonight, sir.
exactly.
I will say before we leave, there is actually one update, production wise. The production of Penguin has actually started.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah, and they've actually hired a very well known character actor, Clancy Brown, to actually portray Salvatore Moroni, which was which was Falcon's nemesis in the mob.
Yeah, I saw that recently. I think he could make a good Salvatore Moroni, to be honest.
Yeah, for all you Superman animated series fans and Justice League animated series fans, Clancy Brown is well known for voicing the supervillain Lex Luthor.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, he's obviously also made several appearances in other franchises. In
hmm
particular, The Flash. He was an episode of that.
hmm
So I think he's definitely. I agree with you, Andrew, that he's definitely a great addition to the Penguin series, starring Colin Farrell. And I'm very looking forward to see how this leads into Batman 2 and see where Oswald is in this point in his life where he's trying to become the mayor of Gotham.
Right. So that would be interesting to see on how he becomes mayor if that actually happens in the TV show.
Mm,
Uh, but it should be fun. It should be fun. Should be a good TV show to watch.
yeah, I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. One more thing I wanted to bring up. They actually, I think they recently just started filming Captain America: New World Order now.
Oh,
Because I think I saw on, I think Anthony Mackie was on with Jimmy Kimmel again. I think he said they started filming on the first, which was I believe a couple days ago. So I think they started filming right now. They're starting to film. We don't actually have a cast list out for that yet. But all I know is that obviously Anthony Mackie will be a Captain America and Harrison Ford will be in it as Ross taking over for William Hurt. You can see Miller's happy about that. So,
well,
um,
hey, I'm excited to see Harrison Ford in anything. I think the dude rocks. He's a great actor.
oh no, absolutely. But it should be a really great movie just to see how they follow up with Falcon and Winter Soldier and how he does as Captain America. So that should be a fun movie to see.
Yeah, I can't get over that suit that he was wearing at the last episode. I was like, oh, this looks freaking cool. And he owns the role now. He owns the mantle. I'm like, dude, you just rock. He's had very big shoes to fill, and I think he's gonna fill them pretty well. If because that
Mhm.
last episode left a huge impression on me. I'm sure it did with all you guys because this is the Captain America of today,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
something that we need. And the message was very strong, and I'm very pleased they did it the way they handled it the way they did.
yeah. I agree. So that should be fun. Should be a good movie. Comes out next year. Um, one more, just the last thing before we go. Did you see the Blacklist premiere by any chance or no?
I have not. I have been a little reluctant for obvious reasons. I've said this in a previous episode where I thought the series should have ended like 2 seasons ago. But I will actually sit down and actually watch it just to see how this ends.
Okay. Yeah. So if you don't watch it by the time of our next episode, if you don't watch it by then, I'll just talk about the premiere and everything and what happened in it.
That's fine.
If you don't decide to watch it, so
Yeah,
all you Blacklist fans out there, I'll get to the premiere probably in our next episode just to see what happened, tell you all about it, recap it. Um, it was actually a pretty good episode, I should say.
mm,
Usually with these last seasons, it tends to be better than the rest of the seasons. So I'm actually very optimistic that this is going to be a good season. Um, Obviously, it won't be this. It was never the same without her, but
yeah.
however they however they do it, however they end it, it had a good run. So yeah, so that it should hopefully be a good season. So and again, we'll I'll post the next I'll talk about that in the next episode and then go from there whatever we have next week. So
Good. Sounds great. So don't forget, next week we're gonna talk about Blacklist, the premiere, but also Creed 3.
here three are our reactions. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Well, I think that's gonna be it for us tonight. Once again, I'm Ian Miller,
I'm Andrew Smith.
and this has been Media Talk with Miller and Smith. Good night, folks.
Good night, guys.
If you'd like to follow us on YouTube, just hit that like button and subscribe.